Ms. Kelly, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your indulgence and for the privilege of being able to speak in this committee on this very, very important issue. First and foremost, I just want to start by thanking, as many members would know, I served on the ad hoc committee for Winnipeg Labs. And I want to thank MP Renee Villemure, Heather McPherson, and John Williamson, all from different parties. The four of us worked very tirelessly to go through these documents and to ensure that we were actually being able to be open and transparent. It was a great process. And this committee, this ad hoc committee, was something that this Liberal government put into place. And it was difficult to get it going because the Conservatives dragged their feet for so long. And when we got through this months and months of work that we did collectively, nonpartisan way, to really find out and to understand what happened here, I think that we came to a good conclusion. And I really want to congratulate my three other colleagues on that really, really good work. Now, this ad hoc committee, we had proposed this ad hoc committee of parliamentarians to balance that parliamentary accountability while protecting national security. And Chair and colleagues, as you may know, I've sat on National Security Intelligence Committee of Parliamentarians. I know how important it is for us to balance that relationship of accountability while also protecting our national security. And as my four Conservative colleagues, none of whom are permanent members of this committee, if I may add, have all alluded to, that there was apparently some kind of cover-up. There was no cover-up. There was no cover-up, Chair. We are supportive of taking the unprecedented step of creating these ad hoc committee, going through the documents, of having arbiters, and then releasing documents. This has been a nonpartisan process. And this is all about the public interest, and all parliamentarians from all parties came together to make sure that we got there. The second point I want to raise, Chair, is that the redactions that are done by PHAC, which is the Public Health Agency of Canada, and CSIS, they're not done by politicians. And it should stay that way. There's very good reasons why politicians should not be involved in determining what should be redacted on the basis of national security. And I think that the role of this ad hoc committee proved how important it is for us to have that oversight, that accountability, but not to be part of that redaction process. The ad hoc process was an opportunity for Parliament to really weigh in on how these redactions happened, and in this instance, what was redacted, without endangering national security or privacy. And this is a process that I think my colleagues, including Mr. Villemure, would agree with, that works. The third point I want to raise, Chair, on this motion and on this emergency meeting is that we share the outrage on foreign interference. We know that this is an issue, this is a challenge that we have to address, and we can't let partisan politics get into the middle of it. We have to come together as a parliament to ensure that we are protecting Canadians, that we are protecting ourselves in the work that we do to hold government to account, for sure, to make sure that our democratic institutions are stable, are well established, and are protected from a lot of this. Foreign interference is an attack against democracy. And every member in this House of Commons, and we share that concern, Chair, and we have to be united in ensuring that we're working to combat foreign interference for the sake of our democracy and for the sake of Canadians who live here day by day by day. And it is unacceptable that there were 2 Canadian citizens who were eminent and well-known scientists in Canada that lied to the Public Health Agency of Canada about their work in China. And this is currently an RCMP investigation into these individuals. And I hope that we trust and respect the RCMP to conduct that investigation while we conduct our role as parliamentarians in the general oversight in that process. This motion, Chair, that has been brought to this committee, this is not our committee's mandate. And I'm sure Mr. Vermeer and myself, we have worked really hard on the ad hoc committee for this Winnipeg Labs issue to ensure that Canadians had access to that document. We released those letters, all of those documents. We put out a letter putting in our position. We had arbiters that came in and overlooked the work that we did also. This was an amazing way of showing how nonpartisan politics can work to protect the safety and security of Canadians while also ensuring parliamentary accountability and oversight into the work that we do. Now, Chair, I have to say, this 1064 meeting calling process is supposed to be reserved for emergencies and not for political games. The original letter that we've received on this 1064 really claims that, and again, it spreads disinformation in my opinion, that, that it was the Trudeau government that withheld all of these documents, that there's something nefarious going on here, that there's a scandal going on here. But the reality of the matter is, Chair, that we have worked very hard with all parties to ensure that there is accountability. We know, and I think that all members of this party, and I will again have to say that every single Conservative member who signed this 1064 letter has been substituted out by another member. They are not here in this room. So clearly, this is not the emergency that these permanent members signed off on. They're not here. Clearly, they don't care when we have all of these people substituted in for what is the mandate and the expectation of what the Ethics Committee is. The events that are in these documents, while they're incredibly important, and our government's taken action by creating this ad hoc committee, by releasing those documents publicly, does not constitute an emergency of what transpired 5 years ago. Many actions have been taken over these 5 years to ensure that these issues have been dealt with and that they won't happen again. That's literally the purpose of how we are going to get to ensuring that there is accountability and fairness in process. The ad hoc committee, which again I was a part of, we did important work over the course of many, many months to get to the bottom of this. This 1064 is not necessary. It's not urgent. It is not in the mandate of this ethics committee. And Chair, for that reason, I move that we adjourn this meeting.
Point of order.
Mr. Chair, I request a recorded vote on this. Thank you.
That's fine. Mr. Chong.
Point of order.
It's
point
not,
of order, Mr. Chair.
On a point of order, it's not debatable what Ms. Khalid just...
I just want clarification to the effect of what Ms. Khalid has moved is to shut down debate.
I'm so sorry,
debate.
Chair,
That's
but
debate.
no, I refuse
That's
to
debate.
let
That's debate, Mr.
this 1064 to become political gander for my
Ms. Khalid, I've already addressed
colleagues.
that with Mr. Cooper, and
Thank you.
and for those who are watching at home, this is a dilatory motion to stop the meeting before a decision is rendered. So I am going to ask the clerk. It is non-debatable. Mr. Chong has asked for recorded division. And I'm going to ask the clerk.
Sorry, Chair, it sounds like you're debating a little bit there.
No, I'm explaining.
the-
I'm explaining, Ms. Khalid.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay? I'm explaining exactly what's going on here, and that there is no further debate, that you've asked that this meeting be adjourned without a decision of the committee being made. I'm explaining.
Because this is not the mandate of the committee, Chair.
That's your opinion. Go ahead, Madam Clerk.
The vote is on the motion to adjourn the meeting. Mr. Baines,
Yes.
Ms. Damoff,
Yes.
Mr. Sorbar,
Yes, please.
Mr. Hausvater,
Yes.
Ms. Khalid,
Yes.
Mr. Cooper,
No?
Mr. Chong,
No.
Mr. Ellis,
No.
Monsieur Villemur,
Je suis contre.
Mr. Green,
Je veux pas l'émotion.
yeas 6, nays 4.
So the motion to adjourn does carry by Ms. Khalid. This meeting is now adjourned.